Hello everybody, this is Eric Navas. In this video, I'm going to be reading an article, which is part of a series of articles about Korea UBF. And let me give a little context before I read this article. This article was one of the few articles that were made back in 2000 and 2001 when the third crisis of UBF happened. Interesting fact is that the UBF crisis started in Korea in April of 2000. And so there was a lot of articles published on. There was several articles published in Korea UBF. They were originally in Korean, and so what I did was I found them on a Google search and changing the language settings, and that's how I came across them. But as of recently, the UBF committee has unfortunately taken it down. But luckily, I thought ahead and archived all the articles, just in case the UBF web team would try to take them down. And so I have transcripts, and at the end I'm going to show you the links to it. Right, like I said, English translation. So when I read it, some of the wording might sound a little weird. It's because I use Google Translate, but the original article is in English. Not English. The original article is in Korean. So if you're a native speaker of Korean or you're familiar with the Korean language, you just definitely read it in Korean. If not, you can use Google Translate to translate in any language, and I translate in English because that's the only language I know. Korea UBF, the wind of reform in UBF. So yeah, I recently updated it. The wind of reform in UBF, the headquarters, the reformers, and the 40th anniversary of mission are held separately during the same period. Kim Jong-hee, reporter. That's the email. So you can contact him about the articles for those who are questioning the credibility of this post. The 40th anniversary of missionary work held by UBF was held at Namshal University in Cheon in Korea and in Chicago during the same period, July 24th to 28th. So, side note, I apologize if I butcher any names. Such a separate missionary convention has never happened before in UBF history. What was the reason why UBF, which was created in Korea in 1961 and has been a unique missionary organization for the past 40 years, has opened a missionary conference separately? It is the UBF, which is called one of the most closed missionary groups, as the wind of reform that is gradually blowing on Korean society and Korean churches. Last spring, the UBF began reforming itself and is now spreading enough to separate missionary contests this year. Chicago is where the founder of UBF and the current governor missionary Samuel Lee is located. The so-called headquartered in Hyeodong, Jongno-gu, and the corporate board of the directors, called the missionaries, dispatched to Chicago, and the so-called reformers held a competition in Cheonan. Okay, so little context here is that there were several Korean missionaries that went to confront the founder in Chicago UBF, but the founder refused to talk to them. I'll make a post about that another time. And someone did one of the UBF missionaries, who later became a reformer, he actually recorded the event of what happened in detail. But that's another video for another time. The missionary conventions held in Cheonan clearly confirmed the meaning and the direction of UBF reform. UBF outside instructors took the lead in the 40th anniversary event, which was held under the theme of College Mission 21 New Start. Past missionary conventions were dominated by the ambition of encouraging UBF missionaries to report and encourage their work in each area. This year's Chicago Mission Conference does not go far. However, in the case of Cheonan, Dr. Robert Coleman, an American evangelist of Divinity School, I think that's what it's called, who was not related to UBF. So yes, he is not related to UBF, but he is one of the recommendations. One of the recommenders that UBF got a hold of to promote their image. And Reverend Kim Sang-bok president of Torch Trinity New University College, took on the role of principal. Jung Ho Chun Lee, Taiwan Lee, Jung Wook Yoon, Koyoung Wo Kim, Hoyoung Tai Kang, Young An, Jun Chong. Some of them had a very negative perception of UBF. So, like again, I apologize if I butchered the names really badly. 2 UBF graduates, including Professor Lim Su Su, Hanam University, and Peter Chang, of course. The Bible was strengthened by the inner shepherds. It is really an exceptional class of teachers. Photo. Caption: Pastor An Boyoung Ho, who gave his first lecture on the first day. He was the victim of the UBF First Reform Movement in 1976. Above all, Pastor An Boyoung Ho, who was the co-president of the Guyana Do and ESF Evangelical Student Fellowship chairman, is the first lecturer on the first day. Pastor An was a key figure in the UBF reform in 1976, both effectively removed from the organization. Is not the ESF a missions agency created by the reformers who have split from UBF? Pastor An repeatedly said in a lecture about the voices mentioned above that I did not think I would meet again like this in 25 years in various places of the lecture. He said, though it is not forgiveness yet, but God works. Someday God will forgive all things, and one day may come. Inviting outside instructors demonstrates a humble attitude of opening the mind and ears and listening to the voice outside of UBF. In the meantime, UBF's contribution to the mission history of the Institute has been negligible, but it has been increasingly unbiblical and impersonal in an overly closed and authoritative atmosphere. However, the new style leadership, which can lead the ministry of the Institute in the 21st century on the biblical and theological basis, has been demanded relatively steadily. In fact, this kind of atmosphere has appeared in various forms since the beginning of this year. In the case of the Seoul Mirung Center, Pastor Chung Caleb delivered a message criticizing himself inside the UBF at the celebration of the 30th anniversary of the center last spring. He also invited a missionary who was known to be an outsider, and he heard the voices of outsiders about the UBF. In addition, in June, we held college student retreats nationwide for the first time, also inviting outside lecturers such as Pastor Kim Jin Hong of Dory Church and Dr. Kim Jin Kayong, president of Yanabi University of Education, is also part of the open flow. Also joining the Academy Evangelization Council and participating in the Christian Ethics campaign after long effort is a phenomenon that makes it very unusual for those who are familiar with the closure of UBF. On the first day of the missionary meeting, Shepherd Kim Young, the chairperson of the conference, instead of presenting the opening message to celebrate the 40th anniversary, reflects on the past 40 years, while also introducing new paradigm, new community, new faith confession, new mission strategy and theology. I have to say that it is time to take a step forward. Kim emphasized new leadership in particular. He described this as incarnational leadership. The emphasis on incarnational leadership in the opening message implies that there has been a significant problem with UBF leadership so far, in a close structured, unbiblical, impersonal, non-autonomous, and unfamiliar leaderships self-hide as a result, and as a result, their contents are naturally exposed to various evils. So, caption: this mission conference has great significance for the healing and recovery of wounds. Another characteristic of this tournament is healing and recovery. Many have been hurt in the flow of the UBF reform, which was the third time following the reforms of the 7-member senior groups in 1976 and the U.S. reform in the 1990s. Although they participated in the reform work, they were individually exiled or the organization was separated. but the stubborn framework was still unbroken. In this process, the devotees who put all their faith and life into UBF were confused and deeply wounded in conflict and anguish. There are a few people who have found a lot of problems in the UBF that they believed so thoroughly and felt a sense of betrayal. The contest also implies the desire to recover the hearts of the union and unity by reconciling with their broken brothers, by embracing and comforting their pain. In fact, the measles that UBF is suffering now are not the only ones. There are many Korean mission agencies in Korea, but each have its own limitations. The pain and limitations are another aspect of the Korean church. For example, there are negative cases in which a leader who enjoys absolute power while demanding the absolute authority of leadership privatizes public funds by using this power as a weapon, or private operates public organizations. It is also used as a means to consolidate the power of absolute power apart from the theological discussion, making a church and worshiping and operating a seminary independently. It is a gesture, but it welcomes foreigners and overseas missionaries with Korean hip-hop or K-pop. That's just a caption there. In this respect, the reform work of UBF is not so small as the message that many Korean missions organizations, and the Korean church as a whole send. We will closely observe how UBF's reform work is going, how it is developed, and how it is developed. First of all, we will pay attention to how faithful the concepts of the reform are. It is because the slogan of College Mission 21, the new beginning, is not solely for them now. And that's the end of the post. So like I said, the article has been removed by the reformers. So if you click on it, so you have an error message. Which is why I updated it with the new link. Okay. Okay. If you go here, well, look at that. And check out the date that was last archived, January 1st, 2008. So this post was removed very recently. So yes, like I mentioned in previous posts, or those who are new to this channel, the UBF web team is aware of this channel and aware of my content, and is doing anything they can within their power to basically silence victims of UBF, those who have been hurt, those who put effort into making and building UBF into what it is, but being ignored and betrayed. So yes. So it was archived one time, and this was very recently that it was taken down. Right. The article will be in the link in the description below. Till next time.